Hello, friends. We are here to talk about fourth grade curriculum. My youngest kiddo is 9 and about to start fourth grade. She is planning to go to public school for fifth in our district. That's when they start in a new building, so I thought it would be a good transition. So this might be her last year of homeschooling, which is exciting and sad all at the same time. So I'm having all the feelings, and that's that. So let's talk about what she's doing for fourth grade this year. For math, we use Math Mammoth, whatever sort of the next book that they are ready for. I believe she still has to finish up 3B before moving on to 4A. But we'll do that. And then for writing, she is a motivated writer. She enjoys creative writing, and there are different types of writing. I know a lot of people think of write by number as very formulaic, but this is definitely for more academic writing, which I think she could use a little more structure with. Mostly I bought this to help my son because he needs the structure, but I think she'll also learn a lot from this too. It is incredibly expensive to buy the printed version. It's about $300 for both the teacher book and the student book, which I did buy. But this was a priority for me this year for my older kiddo because it's something he really needs support with. If it's something you wanted to try before buying, they do offer access to the digital version for $5 a month. So that would be a really great way to see if it's something that works for your kid before purchasing. So we're doing this for writing. For reading, we are going to do 2 novel studies together that I have planned thus far. We're going to read so many books. We also do book club with our co-op. We're starting a new co-op this year, and I'll be teaching book club. So stick around for another video about how I do our book clubs. But she and I chose The Lemonade War and Wish Tree to do together this year. I'll do some with my older kiddo, some with my fourth grader, and then there are some that we'll do together. She has already read this. I have not, which I think is great, because just like there are 2 different types of writing, there are many types of reading. We can read for fun and we can read for enjoyment, which she already did here. But then we can read more deeply and more closely to look at how and why the author did what they did. So I like that she read it once already and could just enjoy it as a fun story. And as we do our novel studies, I'm going to use these rigorous reading guides. These are meant to be used, obviously, with any novel. And I got both the grades 3 through 5 and 6 and up because I do have an older kiddo and I wanted to see what was different, if anything, between them. And there are some minor differences, and well, I need all the things, so I kept them both. So there's that. I'll show you the table of contents so you can see what topics it covers. It covers the usual things for a novel study: pre-reading, characterization and point of view, plot and structure, setting and genre, main idea and theme, author's craft, vocabulary, and post-reading activities. These are meant to be, and in each of these sections there are a few different worksheets that talk about different things, so you can figure out what fits the book you are reading at the time. At the beginning of each section, there's teacher instructions and some guides, and then a few different worksheets that you could copy and use as is, or you could use some of these things just as a basis for discussion if maybe reading in that way or doing novel studies isn't, like if English language arts is not your jam and you need a little guidance, this would be a great thing just to have to help guide you through what questions and things to talk about with your kid as you're reading. So Reading, writing, math, done. Vocabulary and spelling. This kid is a natural speller. So we're not doing a specific spelling curriculum. She just happens to be really good at it. And we're going to use word roots, which I also think will help not just with studying vocabulary, but also learning how to spell it. So she's doing beginning, which is intended for her grade. I thought this one was a better fit. After looking, I got level 1 for my older kiddo, and this one seems perfect for her. And it's just, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it from Critical Thinking Company. It's super popular. Everybody loves it. And somehow I haven't given it a try yet. So I'm excited. But it breaks down prefixes, roots, and suffixes, and how you can use those to decipher meaning, and also how you can use those to better spell words. I wonder if you're hearing my dog sigh. She's laying in the sun. So we're using this for vocabulary and spelling, in addition to building language from Michael Clay Thompson. We did start reading this last year, so this probably won't take us long to get through. We'll do Music of the Hemispheres as well. It's just, this one we have not started. This is more poetics, I believe, and literary devices. For grammar, we did Grammar Island together, and that both of my kids loved, and it worked really well. They understood the presentation beautifully, so we're going to move on to Sentence Island. We've done some Practice Island, but they probably forgot the sentences, and we can go back and do them again. So we'll keep working through this, and I'm going to start her with Editor-in-Chief. I didn't start my son until a little bit later because it was such a struggle for him that he needed to not dig into the specifics of editing quite so early. But my daughter, being such a motivated writer, I'm going to start her earlier. So she's starting in beginning 1, which is grades 2 to 3, but I think since she's just starting looking at these, that it'll be perfect. It'll be great. Everything's going to be great. So it's broken down into, if you've never seen these before, broken down into different aspects of grammar, capitalization, punctuation, tenses, nouns, so on and so forth. So each lesson, it gives you the list of rules at the beginning, and then it's followed by reading passages. So at this level, they're pretty short, which I like. I don't know how we're going to work this into our schedule, if we'll just do one of these, or we'll see what she can handle. But I like that it gives you some clues. So it tells you in this paragraph, there are going to be 2 comma mistakes, 1 period, and 1 question mark mistake. So she can keep track of what she's found as she goes. So we'll try that. We'll try it like it's on a menu and we're just sampling. Reading comprehension, I got the Evan Moore Daily. I got the Evan Moore Daily Reading Comprehension, grade 3. Honestly, why did I get grade 3? I might have already had this lying around and I figured the difference can't be that dramatic. So we'll use what we've got. And if this is way too easy, then I'll buy the next grade level up. And if it's not too easy, yay for me for using what I have and not spending more money. Daily. So there are, again, I think there's sections focusing on different comprehension strategies and skills. And then, so you'll introduce that particular strategy or skill and then practice it. I don't know that we'll actually do this daily. It might be more like weekly, but read a reading passage, answer questions. And it goes on like this. So then there's one for each day of the week. And that's it. Then you move on to the next one. Looks delightful. Delightful. Does anyone like reading and answering questions about main idea? No. No one likes that. All right, moving on to social studies stuff. We are doing a unit with the election coming up, which election day is my 41st birthday this year. So go vote. Be awesome and vote. We're going to do a civics unit using this as a spine, for which we stand. I talked about it a little bit in my 7th grade video, but I will make a separate video to show all of the resources that I found for this. We're going to do some notebooking, some videos, some other books, but this is going to be our spine. Jeff Foster, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. I need a place to stack up all these things. Then, after we finish civics at the beginning of the year, we'll dive into ancient history. It's been a while since we've done ancients. We kind of dug into U.S. history the last couple of years and still only made it through the Revolution because we went way, way deep instead of wide. So we're using History Quest Early Times as a spine. Again, both of my kids together. I'm going to do another video on this to show you what I'm using to bring it up a little bit for my older kiddo. Because again, I'm working in some crash course videos, some other books to supplement, and I can't remember what else. That's why I have to do another video. So, one day I'll remember things. We're doing this and also working in world religions. So that's the other thing that I'll include in that other video is all the resources we're using for that. I have a giant stack of books and it's going to be an adventure. Both of those things, the civics and the ancient history, include geography, but we have these Evan Moore Skill Sharpeners books from last year. I like the Skill Sharpeners books because they are very colorful and engaging. Vocabulary words, maps, beautiful images. My kids liked these, but we just didn't use them. So that's why we still have grade 3. She started it last year, and we'll just continue from where she left off this year. Choosing science has been very hard for me this year. I went on ad nauseum in the 7th grade video, so if you want to know how back and forth I went, you can go there and torture yourself by listening to it. I coordinate with this book. This is another book, another Evan Moore, just the student book, so it looks really boring. But she chose it last year, and she'll keep working her way through this. Just as something quick to practice each week, but for our regular curriculum, we're going to do Scientific Connections through Inquiry, level 3. I chose level 3 because it is what I had. I bought it years ago and never really did it. So I will do this with both my kids. Both of my kids are pretty sciencey. My eldest more so, but we will likely work through this a little more quickly. So even though we could probably start with level 4, I'm doing level 3 to make sure that this is something that agrees with them and me and us as a unit. So if this goes well, then I'll likely buy level 4 to start in the spring. But I figured I should test out the one I have before going and spending more monies. This is the first year I have ever bought something from Thistles and Biscuits, and I'm very excited. We're going to do woven melodies with both of my kids for music. This goes through, if you're not familiar with them, you should be. They have lovely unit studies. This one, Woven Melodies, focuses on different instrument groups. So you look at the mandolin, then you listen to a musician and study different mandolin styles from around the world. That is the same for each different group: harp, accordions, wind instruments. The artwork is gorgeous. And there's a page to label, a composer's study. So after listening to that musician, filling out a page, reading about the instruments is in the teacher guide, which is digital, and I left it digital because there are links to YouTube videos to listen to examples of the music. So read through that, learn about different types of mandolins, things in that instrument group, and then fill out this sheet. You can draw which one was your favorite, talk about why it was your favorite, which songs stuck out to you, reviewing the vocabulary, and then you move on to another instrument group. There are a couple of other music units. I can't remember which one is next. I can't imagine this one taking us all year. So if we love it and they want to continue, we'll get the next unit in the spring whenever we finish this up, or we'll do that one next year. Also from Thistles and Biscuits, I'm super excited for comic arts. My 4th grade kiddo is an artist. She is constantly writing creative stories, drawing, painting, hot gluing cardboard into all the things. So I bought the bundle, both volume 1 and volume 2 of the comic arts from Thistles and Biscuits. I've only printed the first one so far. I just printed out a regular printer paper. I showed in my other curriculum video, my 7th grade video, that it's all in one. So you're reading through and they're showing you kind of what to look at and different skills, strategies, and whatnot. And then there are places in here, let me show you, to do the drawing and the practice. So it's talking about perspective and saying you can use this page to sketch out how a circle would look from different angles. With a pencil, it would probably be fine. If they want to start inking and adding color, which they do talk about later, then I might get them a separate sketchbook to work in. Also, if they want more space than just that. So that might be a thing I need to buy. But I'm excited about this. My kids are excited about this. Because she is such an artsy kiddo, I wanted to cover the basics with her. So I got these, the 7 Elements of Art, Lessons and Activities for Kids, and the 7 Principles of Design, also for kids, both by Amy Coker. I got these right on Amazon, and I've only done a little flip through. It seems very basic, but it's about the basics. So I guess I'll have to give you more of a review when we actually do the thing. So again, maybe I'm thinking right now, maybe that sketchbook just for art, and they can do these exercises and these all in one. Look at me planning it out in real time. So it talks about what the 7 elements are, just a quick look through, and then talking about line, different kinds of line, then encouraging you to practice copying all these types of lines on your own paper, using lines to make 3-dimensional things, thickness of line, and then I think at the end of each one, looking at examples of famous artworks and how line is used, giving you a place to practice adding lines to this to add texture, movement, and feeling. I wanted to say it had a project, but I guess it just has places to practice different things. And then it moves on to color with similar little exercises. And then this one is very similarly designed. So I'll let you know how that goes. I also found this. I don't know where I saw this recommended, probably in some homeschooling Facebook group. And to whomever recommended this, well, thank you. This is The Drawing Lesson, a graphic novel that teaches you how to draw by Mark Crilly? Mark, I love your book. So this is exactly what it says. It is a graphic novel that is lovely, but it shows this kid meeting someone in a park who is drawing. These frames don't have any actual dialogue, but that does come in, and she really explains what she is doing and how to do it. So he wants, oh shoot, that was such a perfect page. I need to learn more. I want to be as good as you. Teach me how to be as good as you are. So she's giving him these lessons and teaching him to look and to draw what he sees, making loose sketches, light and shadow. So this is very, very cool. Negative space. So it's addressing lots of really cool elements, but in a fun, digestible way. So I think this is something that, I think she already read it, honestly, but I want her to actually practice. At the end of each chapter, drawing. So this first chapter is drawing what you see. And at the end, it says, now it's your turn, and it gives you an assignment, an activity, a thing to do. So she hasn't done those yet. All right, so that's art. For health, we are covering a couple of different things. Mental health, physical health, learning about puberty. Big Life journals. I bought these for my kids last year, and of course we started and didn't follow through. So they're amazing. I don't know why we didn't follow through. They enjoyed doing it. So we're going to do those. I have a stack of puberty books. We read, did we finish this one last year? No, we read most of this. I love this book because it is so inclusive. I think I'll do a video on just the books that I've chosen because I like each of these for different reasons. But a quick run through: The Every Body book by Rachel E. Simon. I need to stop bumping my camera. Sorry if I'm making you seasick. Sex is a Funny Word by Corey Silverberg. What Does Consent Really Mean? This one is new to us this year by Pete Wallace and Thalia Wallace. Celebrate Your Body, I have had. We haven't made it to this yet, but my daughter is only 9. My son will also be reading this. Got one for each. Bodies born with a uterus and bodies born with a penis. So we can cover what happens physically to all of the bodies. Also for social, emotional, I got the Mind Up curriculum. This I learned about through a podcast with Goldie Hawn was the guest, and this is a project that she supports and has helped fund. And it sounded really intriguing to me, and I bought 2 books. There are a few leveled books. I think there's a pre-K through second. I know there's a pre-K through second. I think there is a high school one. I got grades 3 to 5, and I have the grades 6 through 8 books. I haven't read through them enough to know what is different. I know they each have a similar approach to things, but of course the specific activities would be a little different for a 3rd grader as opposed to an 8th grader. The language that you use changes as those kids just keep growing. But what I liked about it is that it talks about the actual science of how our brains work, why sometimes those big feelings get triggered in such a big way, and then some different mindful practices to help us regulate those big feelings, and perspective taking, choosing optimism, gratitude, kindness. This looks really appealing, and I can do a review after we've actually done it. So, is that it? I think that might be it. My son has to, for 7th grade in New York State, do practical arts. I talked about it more specifically in his video, but we are, in addition to the standard household home ec practical arts of it all, we're doing a digital safety course. This is a free course from Google, and it's called Be Internet Awesome, and it's divided into these 5 main categories. It talks about knowing what is okay to share, whether your physical safety or your digital safety, passwords versus kind of what photos you're sharing. But I believe it deals with all of that. It talks about identifying fake information, and it's cool to be kind. So dealing with bullying, things that you might see online, and when in doubt, talk it out, encouraging you to find a trusted adult human to help you if you see something online that maybe you shouldn't have, whether it is bullying or whether it is images and things that might not be quite age appropriate. So there are printed lessons and information. There is worksheet stuff, like conversations to have. So this looks terribly boring, but it's really conversation based, talking to them. What do you think you would do in this situation? What about that situation? There are some that have more images, so a little more fun. But in addition to that, there is also an online game, and there are different parts of the game that coordinate with the different things. So once you've done this section or this lesson, then you go in and play this game online that reinforces those ideas. So she will be joining us for this as well. Be Internet Awesome, Digital Safety and Citizenship Curriculum from Google, free. All right, that's it. That is all that we're doing for 4th grade this year with my youngest kiddo. Stick around for videos on, what do I have coming up? I did 7th grade, 4th grade. I will be doing one to focus on the puberty books that I chose and all of our health things and why, because many of them I like for different reasons. Some more specifics about our civics unit, what I'm using for ancient history and world religions, and how I do book clubs, because there are so many different ways to do book clubs. They're awesome, and you should have one too. All right, that's it. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.